Anyway.
All right. This has been a great podcast. I'll see you later.
We can do this. Can we keep our brains together today while we... What?
I was just going to let you... You know what?
Well, I was, and then it sounded like you were going to say something.
No.
Okay.
No. Jessica, I am here as a passenger on the journey of you leading us wherever we're going. You are in charge today. You are the conductor. I am the caboose.
Alice.
Yes.
Glad to have you here today.
Hi.
I love you very much. 2 birds, 1 brain. We're going to talk about dreams. Dreams.
Not Dream, the YouTuber. Dreams.
I don't even know who that is.
The phenomenon. I just connected with all the tiny young Gen Zers out there.
I mean, we're reaching 2 different age gaps here with
That's true.
Who we are as people. 6 years in between us. The fuck?
Just enough.
Isn't it? Isn't it 6?
I don't know. You're asking me to do math with a head cold?
I'm sorry.
It's fucking rude of you. It's pretty fucking messed up of you to do that. I want you to know that I have several types of medication running through my system right now, so. Yay! Can you hear my head cold nose? Does my voice sound weird?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, maybe a little bit. There's a little bit of a guh, but, you know, guh. You know, that's the only way I could describe it. It's just like a... Yeah.
I got a little bit of the guh going on, you know?
But yeah, dreams. I know we've talked about this before, but, like, we both have really vivid, weird fucking dreams.
Yeah. Very realistic, very much, like, I don't realize I'm in an alternate reality. Like, they're so realistic.
Have you ever had one? Well, no. That's not what I want to ask. My brain was going to go somewhere, and then I was like, no, that's incorrect. I did have one time where, like, I've had 1 or 2 that I fully did not realize that, like, I was sleeping. Like, I thought it was real life. And there was one time, I scared the fuck out of Richard when we were, like, first dating, too. It was great. I was sleeping over at his house.
Oh, my God.
At that point, his computer was in his bedroom because he had a roommate. And I went to sleep before him. I was probably only sleeping for like a half hour to an hour, maybe, if even that. But he was playing Dishonored on his computer, I remember, because I dreamed that I was still awake, or like I was about to fall asleep while he was playing his game. He got up to use the bathroom, and then he didn't pause it correctly, and his character got stuck and was about to walk off the edge, so I got up and tried to save it, but I couldn't, and I was worried that it like fucked up his save state. And then, you know, when he, in my dream, came back in, I started to tell him, like, babe, I'm so sorry. I tried to save it, but I don't, your guy, he just kept walking. And apparently I woke up talking because I was asleep. And I woke up saying, like, I tried to fix it. Your guy fell off and he fucking jumped so big because it was out of nowhere.
That's so funny.
And then he came over, you know, all concerned to the bedside, like, what, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I was like, your guy died. I tried to stop it. And he was just like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? I had no idea. It was so real. I didn't know that that didn't happen.
I would like to say I have 2 things I do want to talk about.
Yeah.
A, my sleep paralysis demon, and B, my one reoccurring dream. We'll get back to either of those at some point.
I wrote things down. They're on the list.
But I'm not a sleep talker, but I do... Outside things do have influences on my dreams.
Yes.
So I have definitely had dreams where I'm like, I'll hear my alarm go off and be like, why is the dog starting to sound like an alarm clock? Like that kind of shit.
Dude, because I used to wake up to, I had one of those, the iHomes, you know, where you put your iPod in it. And it also had the stereo on. I would wake up to the local, like, rock radio station when I lived in Texas. And I can fully remember one time I was having a dream. I was in high school, and I was having a dream, like, my friends in high school were there talking to me in the hallway. And all of a sudden, my best friend started talking, and it was the radio VJ's, like, voice was coming out of her, like, what he was saying. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I woke up, and it was like, fucking Christ. Or, like, you know, the music cuts in, like, you hear a song start playing. But have you ever had one of those moments, and this is always, like, the weirdest thing for me, where it's, like, your brain works so fast. You hear a noise, or your alarm goes off or something, but your brain has already put the plot together for that noise to make sense.
Yes.
In your dream.
I know what you mean. Where it's like, it has to be coming from something, so let's just give it an object.
There's a bang outside, and your brain is like, oh, a tree fell down in the forest that we were walking through all of a sudden. Like, that makes sense. And you're just like, the fuck is going on?
Well, and my problem is I'm a really light sleeper. So
Same.
if a noise happens and I stay asleep, that's more bizarre to me. The number of times I've woken up to silence and been like, I just woke up out of a dead sleep. What the fuck just
Something
happened?
happened, yeah.
Like, something has happened, and I don't know what it is. I think my least favorite one, and I think I've talked about it before, was when Logan's violin's bridge popped off. Because that's all the strings are tense over that bridge.
Yeah.
That's what causes the tension. So that popped off, and it was like, dring!
Jesus fucking Christ.
In the middle of the night, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I found the bridge on the floor later in the day and was like, golly.
Popped off. Oh my God, that's crazy. But yeah, like I've had that happen, and I have woken up because also very light sleeper, but my brain, like in the dream, put it together like it was a logical something for me to wake up. It was like, oh, we changed the story, so it made sense for me to wake up right now. Like, my brain doesn't work that fast when I'm awake, I don't think, but damn, dream brain be going off.
You know what else gets me in dreaming states is, and this is the most fucked up thing, and I know lots of people relate to this because I see people talk about it all the time, but it's the I am somewhere, or I am talking to someone, and it's not that place or someone, but my brain's like, it's that place or someone. Like
that.
I've had several dreams where I'm at my Nana's house.
Yeah.
But it's not my Nana's house.
But you know
I'm aware. Yeah, like I'm standing in the house, knowing it's my Nana's house, but being like, that table doesn't go there. There's not a hole in the wall here. That door doesn't exist. Like, just a totally different layout. But it's like, no, that's Nana's house. And I'm like, it's not Nana's house. Who's trying to trick me?
Just reminded me about a dream I had earlier, like this month, I remember, because I told Richard because it was really weird. But it was like post-apocalyptic. We were separated for some reason. I was with my mom. Amber was with Richard, and some like there were people I knew were like together. Like we were all trying to beat back together. And then at one point, like we were in a tree house, but I lived there, and I knew that, and I didn't know why. And it was just one of those moments, and I was like, "What is happening right now?"
I have never had so much confidence than being in a space in my dreams. You know, like being like, "No, this is where I am," and you're like, "No."
If I could only be that
what are you
confident
talking
in
about?
real life. Like yes,
what the hell?
Correct. My God. That's like, there was a comedian, I don't remember who it was, but I'm sure it was multiple, that have said they hate hearing about other people's dreams because of shit like that. I love it. I want to know that shit. I was there, but I wasn't, but everything was purple and it was fine. And there was a shark walking around. That shit makes me so happy.
The other day at work, we were talking about this, and it was, the girls were talking about how, can you dream with another person? Not dream about them. Like, you can set up your brain to have a dream. Yeah, but, like, could you share a dream with someone?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, you know, that's more on, like, the mystical side of things. And it's like, I don't know. But, I've definitely, now listen, I'm gonna get a little on the non-scientific side here a little bit, y'all. Ooh, with me, all right? I've definitely had dreams where it's like, I don't even know how else to describe this besides being like, it falls in that same vein of like, this is my Nana's house, but it's not. And it's like, I can dream about someone and be like, oh, I'm dreaming about this person. Like, they're not connected to anything. They're just an image in my head. And then there are other dreams that I've had where I'm like, this person is physically here. Like, I can tell that person is there.
What do you mean?
And it's fucking frightening.
Like that is not a dream person, but it's like, oh, I've never
like
had that happen.
Yeah, no, it's fucking freaky. Well, and
I've had
my mom does it too, so it's generational. My mom and I both do it. My mom has visions, and it's fucking wild.
Oh my God.
Hers are usually like she'll dream about like a fire. And then, like, 3 days later on the news, like, she'll describe her dream to me. And then 3 days later on the news, it'll be almost parallel to what she described to me. I'm like, you dreamed about that before it happened.
Witchcraft, Alice.
Like, and like, I'll have dreams like that happen sometimes as well. But the really weird ones is when it's like, I've dreamed about people, and then I've dreamed, and it's like the presence is different. Yeah. You know? Like, instead of it being just like, I feel like regular dream people, you're like, you can like swat at them and nothing's gonna happen. Right? But like, it's almost like Inception. Like literally the movie Inception, where they're like, wait, you're not supposed to be in
Which
here.
Which is
like,
scary. I've never done lucid dreaming, but the concept scares the absolute bejesus out of me.
And I accidentally slip into lucid dreaming.
I'm scared to do it.
I don't do it on purpose, but sometimes I get there and I'm like, oh no, I'm in charge now. Okay.
I don't think I've ever had that happen, and I'm okay with that. The only thing close to that I can think of,
it's so frightening to me,
is like I had, and I did write this down because I remembered, but it's similar. There was one time I was in college. I had gotten a new cell phone. It was one of the ones that slid upwards, one of those little LG guys, and went boop. And there was a little port that I couldn't open for an SD card so it could hold more memory. And I, for the life of me, could not get the fucking thing open. I tried like tools. My fingernails were long enough at that point, but I couldn't fucking get it open. And I went to sleep. And then I remember in my dream that night, like one of my old friends from high school who had passed away, like was there in my dream, and she was just like sitting on a chair in the corner, and she was talking to me about stuff, and then she was like, oh yeah, this is all you have to do to get that open. And then the next morning I tried, first try, I got it open.
Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
what I'm talking about. When you're like, when it's like it's a real person. You're like, that's a real person in my brain right now.
That's the one that felt like the realist. That's the only one I can remember like that. But I was like, if this was, again, getting mystical, something where it was like, no, she came to talk to me and help me. I'm like, you help me with my phone case?
Okay.
Without anything else?
Okay, but I would like to say, we've already experienced this as a community, because I had that dream about Hassan telling me to play a game, and then I went and looked on the Steam store, and it was a real game. It actually existed, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I had no idea.
Did the game look like in your, like, did you see the game in your dream?
Yes, it looked very similar. It was like the little fuzz balls. Yeah. Granted, I feel like the plot was different, but like the fact that it was little fluffy ball things, critters.
I mean, because there's a lot of games out there. It's almost like the Rule 34 of games. If somebody thought about it, it could be made, you know? So it
was just the fact that it was like the title and the general concepts were similar, that I was like, what the fuck?
Interesting.
Like, it creeped me out.
It blew your mind.
It blew my
mind. I mean, I remember hearing a thing one time too, and I don't know if there's any way to ever know that it's true, but that like your brain isn't very good at making up like faces. So like the people in your dreams that you don't know are like people that you've seen somewhere before.
Yeah, you've just ambiently seen people.
Yeah, whether it's like a background extra in a movie or just people at the grocery store or something, you know, it's just, they just fill it in like, oh, this is a background character. They are a background character.
Yeah. Well, also, Jessica, do you dream in like full color?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also dream in like full color, like full, like action movie detail.
Yeah. And it's usually, for me, third person. For me.
Mine will go back and forth.
I have had some where I'm first person, or it's like moments go back and forth, but for the most part, I'm seeing outside of myself. The only times actually that I can remember being in first person are when like it's like nightmarish things. Something is happening to my person. Like there's a nightmare that I've had, I think everybody's had at least one, you know, where your teeth fall out. Like, cause I had
that's a stress related dream.
I had a mirror moment. Those ones are the worst also because you can feel it. I know that the bones moving around in my mouth feel like, and I am not happy with that information.
Well, and the thing that, like, freaked me out about that was I was like, why in the world why does my body know that sensation? Mm-hmm. Forgetting that I've literally physically lost all of my teeth once.
But also, this is the whole thing, have you heard? And this is not
my brain remembers that.
This is not dream related, but your brain has the information. If you look at any object, or you think of an object, and you think about licking that, you know what that would feel like.
Yeah.
Your tongue knows what that would feel like, even if you've never licked it before.
Okay, but to be fair, that's not very fair for me because I just like to put stuff in my mouth.
No, but if you think about like a half-crunched maple leaf outside, like a fall leaf, think about licking that. You know what that would feel like. I've never done that before, but I can...
Yeah, but the problem is that that's my invasive thought, and I put it in my mouth when I should not be putting it in my mouth. I had to tell the story the other day at work about how when I went to this BDSM club that I didn't realize was a BDSM club because it was rave night, and I told people and that, and they were like, normally. "You went where?" And I was like, "I I don't know what's happening. I just showed up because I was told to show up. And my friend, I was already like 4 drinks in and was gone.
Yeah.
He brought a little rubber duck to me, a little tiny rubber duck, and was like, look, someone's handing out ducks. And I literally didn't think, grabbed it and shoved it in my mouth.
Jesus
and he was like,
Christ.
Alice!
First
Alice,
of all, it could have been drugs.
Do you know where you are? Spit that out.
Second of all, disease.
I know.
Girl.
And I think back on the moment, and I went, wow, I really am surprised I did not get COVID from that situation.
God. You don't know how many people touch that duck.
Like, that's literally my invasive thought is, like, if someone gives something, I just want to put it in my mouth. Every day I fight the urge, not just go, pop it in my mouth.
For the
like
meme
a crazy person.
and for your brain. You just,
yeah.
For the funsies.
It's for the joke and for the, I just want to know.
The other time that I can think of off the top of my head that I have vividly dreamed in first person is I had a nightmare that I woke up. And again, it felt so fucking real life that I woke up and I was pregnant. And it was horrible.
No!
Like, because I looked down and I was like, and then looked in the mirror. This is how much you know I don't want kids. That was one of the worst dreams I've ever had in my entire life. And I was horrified in dream and out of dream.
You know what dream we've both had?
Huh.
That one where you're dreaming and then you wake up in your dream.
Yeah.
And you think you're awake and you go to the bathroom.
Actually, I don't know if I've had that happen.
You've never had one of those?
I don't think so.
Mine are the worst because mine will layer. Because it's like, I don't want to wake up to go to the bathroom. So I keep waking up and acting like I'm going through the motions in my head.
Yeah. There was one time you just reminded me. There was a time I really had to pee. I had to pee so bad.
Dude.
But
it's amazing how urgent that is.
And I just wouldn't fucking wake up. And I think that's actually one time I knew that I was dreaming and I was like, can you just stop? Like, the dream was telling me, like, pee. You gotta pee. Go piss, girl. The dream was telling me to go piss, girl. Yeah. And I just wouldn't wake up, but I knew it because I was walking around. Again, it was an office building. I knew it was my mom's office, but it didn't look like it. Here we are again. Yeah. And I remember walking past cubicles in this like yellowish tan kind of office space. And like, in one of them, somebody was like pouring tea. In another one, somebody was like chugging a water bottle. I walked past a water feature, like, and I remember like a little fountain on the edge of somebody's desk. And that's when I can physically remember kind of like in my dream rolling my eyes like, oh, come on. Like, thank God I did not pee. I did not go piss, girl, in that dream. I was close though. I remember it was like this dream, my brain is really trying to get me to wet the bed right now.
You've just unlocked a memory in my brain. So when I was younger, I used to throw up like all the time.
Okay.
Like I swear, we're coming around. Don't worry. I swear it's gonna make sense, Jessica, please. Give me a moment to explain myself.
Weird segue, but let's go.
I used to get sick all the time. I would throw up all the time. It was just what happened to me. I don't know. I guess I didn't know how to eat right. But I would get sick
swallowing is a sign of autism.
That's not the problem.
Okay.
It's the keeping it. It's just the keeping the food in the stomach is the issue. And I would remember having dreams of like trying to shut a door. Yeah. And in my brain, I'd be like, okay, I shut a door, we're good. Okay, I shut a door, we're good. Yeah. And it was like each door got harder and harder to close. And it was basically me dreaming, fighting my gag reaction.
Oh my God.
Like I was physically like in my dream pushing against my gag reaction because I was like, no, I don't want to
You don't want to sleep puke right now.
And I was like, I would be like trying to close the door. And my brain was like, you can't close the door. And I was like trying so hard. And I remember it and being like, I was like, I can't close the door. And then I woke up and was like, I gotta go throw up. Like, it was immediate. It was like, I have to go.
That's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah. So, like, I do, like, if I have a physical bodily urge while I'm sleeping, my brain will try to communicate that to me by putting a physical boundary in my way. And being like, hey, you need to wake up. Which is wild, because I wake up so easily. I'm just like, just make me make a noise that wakes me up.
I had to pee so bad that night. Like, I remember. And I was like, why did this not physically wake me? Like, I was deep into, like, REM or whatever. I was out. But
you know what is really funny? It's one of my favorite things that happens is when my mom is sleeping and she's napping. My mom snores like a fucking bear, okay? Scariest thing you ever heard in your life. Yeah. But when she snores so loudly, she wakes herself up.
That's so funny.
Me and my brothers are always cracking up. It is so funny because you're just like, God, you just... how did you manage that?
Richard does that a couple times. But I think it's also because he's a heavy sleeper, but... I have kind of conditioned him because I wake him up so often when he's snoring, that sometimes there's one and he wakes himself up with it. When it scares us both is when it's pretty funny though, when we're both like, oh. That was a big one.
I want you to know that in the middle of the night last night, Logan rolled over and just went, fuck! And then rolled, and I was like, what the hell, dude? He just I didn't sleep well at all last night, and it wasn't because of anything important, but it was just funny that it was silent.
and then fuck.
Then, fuck! I was like, what? It's so funny.
It's funny. We talked about this time before last, maybe, also, talking about farts. Everybody sleep farts. All the time. She's doing that. But I remember there was one night, it was within the last year, I think. Richard usually falls asleep before me. And he fell asleep. Mona was laying on me. She was falling asleep. And then Richard farted. And it scared Mona because she was on me and I felt her jump. And I just could not stop laughing. And I woke him up and, tried to explain what was so funny. But of course he's like, so didn't really get it.
What's going on?
And I was like, you farted and you scared the cat. And it was dead silent, so of course then it was more hilarious.
Oh my God.
That's just...
What were we talking about?
Sweet dreams are made of this. I don't know. You mentioned...
derailed there.
We did. But it was on topic. It was just... We followed a train of thought. We hit the end of the track. We kind of hit a standstill. Last stop.
So anyway... Going back to dreaming about people who are there.
Oh, yeah, that's where we started.
But let's go the opposite direction and say you're dreaming about something that's there but not actually, which is your sleep paralysis demon.
That's where I was going to say that's where we go next, yeah.
I hate that guy. He's the worst. And I haven't had a sleep paralysis dream in over a year, but the last one I had was so fucking terrifying. I didn't sleep for 2 days.
Well, that's the thing. Bad. I think I've only had it once. But then I think about it every once in a while, and I'm like, because I thought about it, I'm so scared that it's gonna. Then I get the anxiety. I'm like, I don't want it to happen again because I thought about it.
Yes, it's so scary. And usually the normal sleep paralysis that I have is the sensation of an animal walking on my sheets.
Oh, you said that. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and since getting a cat, that's just my life. That's just Dublin walking around. But before, when I didn't own a cat, it was the same sensation. It was just little paws walking across the bed.
Interesting.
And that's terrifying when you don't own a cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that I have Dublin, it's like my sleep paralysis demon has to try so much harder to wake me up because I don't care.
It's like cat.
But
Cat. Yeah.
I'm definitely someone that has to have at least one light on in some vicinity to me. I have to have a nightlight. I don't give a fuck how childish that is because I have to have it because it was our bathroom in this apartment and it was a closet at our old apartment. The one that was the closet at our old apartment in Atlanta was probably the worst sleep paralysis I've ever had, which was basically Slender Man coming out of the closet.
Mine was Slender Man.
Yeah, but instead of a white face, it was still the black. It was
mine
a black
was
face.
White face. Mine was literally Slender Man.
White one. Yeah, and it had really creepy eyes and
no eyes. Mine.
The thing is that it's such the fear response that's attached to it is so animal.
Oh my God,
it's not a
visceral.
normal fear response, right? Because I feel like I'm usually when I'm scared of something, I'd be like, okay, harness it, you're in reality, what are you actually scared of? But when I'm in a dream state, I don't have that ability, so it goes straight down into that primal fear
whole body
instinct.
Yeah.
And it's I feel it in my sternum, I feel my heart racing, my fingers are shaking, and it's it starts speaking to me, and I'm like, I don't fucking speak demon.
You're stopped.
So fuck off. Yeah, he's terrifying. I don't like him. And slowly, it's like does the slow slink, and then it does that crazy shit where it moves really fast. And it's always like really fast right up into my face, and then it disappears. And I'm always just like, and then I wake up all the way, and I'm like, I hate you. I hate you. I don't know who you are. I don't know who assigned you to me. But I need you to get the cat back. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, no, I
don't like this game.
I've only had it once. And I think it's funny that you said, like, yours is kind of attached to, like, you need a nightlight. For me, because it definitely seems like anytime it's happened or something similar has happened, it is related to something physically that I've done or that is in my vicinity. Because the one time that it happened to me, and again, it was Slender Man. It was just straight up Slender Man. I was in...
It's fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, Richard and my old apartment. And the way that our bed was set up, like, our room wasn't a perfect square. There was, like, you cut off one of the corners. So there was a diagonal. And that's what our bed was up against.
Yeah.
It also had, like, 3 of the walls had doors. So there were doors on either side of the bed, and there was one across from it. We would have all the doors closed. I need doors closed or as close as they can get, since we have a cat now. But I remember, like, when we went to sleep, the door that was closest to me on our side didn't get closed all the way, but it was close, and I was like, I don't feel like getting up and closing it. It's probably fine. And it was that door being just partially ajar. It was not fine, girl. I dreamed, like, that he, like, hands came on the door frame and very slowly, creaked it open, and then his head peeked through, and it's very slow the whole time. I didn't have anything really fast, but just... leaned over me and got like inches from my face, like his face, and my whole body was shaking viscerally, until I woke up. Absolutely horrifying. Never happened again, but I'm scared it's gonna happen constantly.
No, I had another event when we lived here, but it seems to be tied to when I'm having really strong bouts of anxiety, because I used to have it a lot more when I was in college because my anxiety was so bad all the time, especially because the birth control I was on at that time was like literally was just like crippling me. Like I was mentally so messed up from my drugs. It was awful. Also, didn't help myself by watching as many episodes as possible of Ghost Adventures before going to bed. Like, why did I think that was a good idea? That obviously is feeding into this imagination that I have. This is another reason why when people are like, oh my god, I want to watch horror movies. I want to watch, like, like this fucking weird, creepy-ass, like, human centipede-ass shit. I'm like, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I don't
because
need that.
once it's in my brain, it's going to be in there forever. I'm going to dream about that the rest of my life, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't like really gruesome visual movies because of that. I don't like learning about serial killers because I don't like learning about the worst of humanity because then it gets applied to me and that's worse.
I realize I'm turning into my mom with that because she used to be the person that would watch movies and then she'd be like, ooh, and I was like, Mom, it's not that bad. And I do that now. I'm like, I don't want to see it. And that's literally what she would say. I don't want to see it. And that's me now. I get it. Mom, I'm sorry.
It gets in there, man, and our brains don't let go of it. And you know what? All right, I'm gonna derail us. Fuck it.
I have another thing. We'll have to go back to it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Queen.
I was gonna say I have another one. It wasn't exactly sleep paralysis. I'm going.
Go,
girl.
Vamos.
It wasn't exactly sleep paralysis, but it was the same thing where I had a nightmare that was tied to something that I had physically done, like, and changed before bedtime. And it was the first night when I think I was in high school. I tried to sleep without any stuffed animals. I was like, I am a teenager. I am a grown-ass adult. I don't need stuffed animals.
That jump is so much harder than you think.
And then I had one of the most vicious, like, nightmares I've ever had in my life. And it was like, I'm home alone. I was in my actual house at the time. All of our curtains were gone. And there was a man and a woman that were, like, staring at me through the windows. And I knew they were trying to get in and get me, like, in the house. And I was, everywhere I would go, they would be staring at me through the windows. And I know they got in the house. And then I had run upstairs into our little room that we had the computer and stuff in, which didn't have any windows because I was like, it's safe in here, there's no windows. But I know they got in the front door, and I hid in a cupboard, and I was like, they're going to get me. And I heard them open the door, and then I woke up. But I was like, they're going to get me.
Something in my brain. Okay, now, this is going to be a weird... Forget that other thing I was going to talk about.
Okay.
It's fine. I'll probably forget it anyway. Have you ever had it's similar to that.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're in a survivalist situation and you've had the dream before, but each time you have the dream, you learn a new step.
No, I have not. Mm-mm.
Okay, so this is the most fucked up thing. I have like 3 of these ongoing at all times.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in a choose my own adventure every now and again.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, last time you had this dream, you took the left path and you died. So take the right path this time. Like, it's like a dream that grows on itself.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I don't remember what I did last time because I don't remember the dream until I'm in it again. And, like, I'm living it. And I'm like, I've done this before.
Yeah.
We've played this game before. What did I do last time so I don't do it again? And I have actually only completed one of these dreams in my lifetime. There's, like, I don't know why my brain does this. She's fucked up. She needs help. But I did finally, from my childhood, I had one of these dreams that lasted from when I was, like, 6 or 7 up until about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I finally was able to, like, get all the pieces correct and finish the dream. I don't remember what the conclusion was. It was just that, like, congratulations, you get to wake up without anxiety or something.
You did it.
Stupid. But, like, it's so weird because I won't remember that that's the dream, and then I'll get into it, and I'm like, oh, I've done this before. I know I've done this before.
Yeah.
And I just have to make a different decision this time. And if I'm really good and really clever, I can get all the way through the dream, and then I never have the dream again. Like, I've never had that other dream since then. Like, what the hell is that about?
I don't know.
What is she trying to tell me about the other side?
I've had generally two dreams that I can remember that I've had recurring, but I haven't had them in years. I will say I'm going to save the one of them and for the very end, because I think it would be fun if we end with our just like most crazy recurring dream that we've had.
Oh yeah, I'm going to save my weird
the one that makes the least sense, but I'll tell you the other one, because with this one also, like the other one I don't realize I'm having it while I'm having it, but this one I always get to a point and it's at the very end and I'm like, oh, like, I remember this, but I can't change anything because it's already at the end. Like, there's nothing that I could do. And this was during a very anxious time in my life. This was early college. And I remember I'm at a theme park, like a carnival kind of type thing. One of those in-between sized ones, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I'm hanging out with my friends. We're having picnics. My family's there. All my friends are there. Everything's good. And then we go to get on, like, a roller coaster all together. And everybody I know, like, gets put on things on one track, and then I get in. It's a hanging roller coaster. Mine is shaped like a swan. I get in that one. I'm put on the other side from everybody else. And I'm like, oh, everybody else is, like, over there. And they're like, no, this side is yours. And then they, like, go off, and they're riding the ride. It's very calm. It's very peaceful. It's very nice. And I'm chilling. I'm like, where are they going? And then my track is leading straight into, like, a pitch black tunnel. And I'm like,
no.
Bye.
Oh my God.
And it's not until, like, then I see the tunnel, like, every time, and I'm like, oh, I've been here before.
Yeah.
And I'm already on the ride. Like, I can't get off. And I'm just like, there they go. They're having fun. That's, like, the only one that's like that.
Yeah.
And I had that a couple times.
It's such a bizarre thing, too, because it's like, what are we trying to work out?
Mm-hmm.
What anxiety am I trying to work through in my sleep that requires me to be fucking Indiana Jones for an hour in my sleep? Like, what is this?
Mine are usually not that adventurous. They're just, like, weird. But yeah,
no, it's like I'm trying to do an escape room in my sleep.
Have you ever actually died? Because I know that's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
they say
several times.
They say you're not supposed to die in your dreams. But I'm like, no, I've seen myself die at least once.
I have died several times. My least favorite one. Okay, so here's another weird one I used to have all the time.
Yeah.
I used to have dreams that my skull would be broken.
Oh, wild.
And like I'd be doing something and then I would like fall and I could hear it crack.
Ew, yeah.
And then I would just be aware that like my skull was broken.
Yeah.
Like I would have that awareness and be like, this should have killed me.
Oh my God.
And like I would have that over and over and over and over again, like in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And also ones where, like, I remember one very distinctly, which was I was at our high school pool, and it was drained, which was weird. It's an Olympic-sized pool. That's a lot of fucking water to drain out, but whatever. And I was standing on a tile, and the tile started to shoot up, you know, like how, like in a video game, like when it moves up, and they're like, oh, look, they're little stairs. Except this one just, like, pushed me straight into the ceiling, like, and killed me. Like, that was my whole dream, was, like, I fell asleep, I was in the pool, there was no water in the pool, and then I went through the ceiling.
Just got
like, that was it.
into the ceiling.
Like, what the hell is that about?
The one that that I can remember where I'm like, no, I definitely died. And I remember this full dream. I knew exactly what I was sorting through also. This one was not subtle at all. Like, this is when I was hopelessly in love with the first person that I dated and blah, 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 all that. When we weren't together and he lived somewhere else. And I remember I had a dream that I was out in this town where this guy lived, but of course it looked like nothing like it. It was a big, empty, barren, like open fucking field. And I had a dream that, oh shit, like tornado sirens are going off. There are tornadoes coming.
God.
And then all of a sudden I was fucking surrounded by tornadoes. They were everywhere. And there was a bathtub in the middle of this open field. And I was like, you're supposed to get into a bathtub when there's tornadoes. It was an empty ass clawfoot bathtub.
You had your own Twister moment.
And I got in, and then like the tornadoes seemed to dissipate and I got out. And then a tornado came down directly on top of me and like lifted me up and ripped me apart. Like I was third person. I got fucking torn apart in all directions by that one. I have a lot of dreams about tornadoes.
I can see why you have weather anxiety.
I have so many bad dreams about tornadoes. Like it's not even funny. That's one of my biggest fears is tornadoes.
Well, and I used to have dreams about spiders all the time. Mm-hmm. All sizes, like me size, little tiny ones, all ranges of spiders. I hate when I have spider dreams. Those are the worst ones. Yeah. I actually have trained myself how to wake up because of how nasty my nightmares used to be. And I don't care when people are like, it's just a dream. No, bitch, because that shit lives in there. Mm-hmm. I don't get away from it. It's just that when I'm awake, I don't have to think about it. Yeah. But then I go back to sleep and my brain's like, yeah, let's pick up where we left off. And I was like, let's maybe not do that. Yeah. I left that behind for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a dream? Also, okay, two things. First off, every time we start a sentence like that, it makes me think of the Vine Kid. Have you ever had a dream where you that should be the title of this episode.
And you can do anything?
Yeah. First off, there's that. But also, another thing. Anytime that we keep having a brain blast, I love seeing that on both of our faces when we remind each other of something. And then what you made me think of is, have you ever had a dream where you're actually not sure if something happened in real life or in your dream? You're like, did I do that just now? Because I had a...
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I had a dream...
You just triggered another memory!
I love it. I had a dream once, and I think it really happened. I don't think it was a dream. Where I felt something crawling on me. Like, it might have been a spider or whatever, and then that, like, I grabbed and I threw whatever it was. And then I woke up right after that because, again, the sensation of the crawling, was it real or not? And I woke up and I was like, did I just snatch and toss a bug, like, across my room? Because this is also when I lived in Texas. I was in maybe middle school. And if you live on the Texas coast and there's palm trees around, there are very large cockroaches that you just they get in your house. You can't help it. Yeah. They live in the palm trees. There are palm trees around. I think I actually did have a cockroach crawling on my hand, and I just snatched and threw it.
Hell yeah.
But I woke up and I turned the lights on and I couldn't find it, but I was so fucking freaked out after that. It's like, oh God.
So my thing is, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dream, but it is in fact a real thing. And the reason why I say this is that my dreams when I was a kid were so vivid and so real that I had a really hard time when I was younger determining what I had dreamed and what was a reality because my brain was storing that information in the same place. So it was like, did this happen? I have no idea. Mm-hmm. But I remember watching a movie as a little kid, and you've heard this story before. I'm sorry, it's redundant. And I feel like I've told other people this.
I think we've talked about these things on stream before because I think I know where we're going.
And I remember, the only thing I remember from this movie that I thought I dreamed up for several years was Jim Carrey birthing himself from a rhino. Yeah. Okay? All right? It's Ace Ventura. But I need you to understand that I watched that movie one time at like 5. Yeah. And never saw it again. So in my brain, I was like, well, obviously it's a dream because no one else talks about this. This is obviously not real. Mm-hmm. And what a fucking, I would dream that up. Like that's some wild ass shit I would dream up. Yeah. And the only reason I knew it was real, and it blew my mind when I was 17, 10 years later, was I went to London, and in the Victoria and Albert Museum, I'm pretty sure that's where we were, they have, like, pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, like, outfits that Freddie Mercury and, like, Prince wore, and, like, props from movies and different things like that. And the very first thing when I walked in the fucking room was that stupid fucking rhino. And I saw it and went, it's real? It's real? Amazing. And I had to walk over there and read the sign and be like, holy fucking Christ. I literally thought I made this up. I thought I dreamed this up. I didn't realize this was real. No one ever talks about this movie. How was I supposed to understand? The man birthing himself from a rhino was so real. Amazing. And I had an epiphany in the middle of the Victoria and Albert Museum, if that's the museum we were in. I can't remember. I'm so sorry.
You had a soul-changing moment.
I hurt my own feelings with that, where I was like, I never even bothered to tell anyone that because it was so absurd to then realize it was real. Because amazing. My dream, that's how absurd my dreams are. It's that Ace Ventura was a dreamable moment for me.
Yeah, I think we did talk about this on stream, because I had that moment too, but mine was Return to Oz with the lady who stole heads and changed her faces, and the guy with the pumpkin head. And
yes, we have talked about this, because my other one is The Wiz. Yeah. Where she gets attacked by trash cans, and I was like, why is Dorothy getting attacked by trash cans? Yeah. And my favorite part is I was telling my brother that, and he's like, how come the only thing you remember from that movie was that she got attacked by trash cans, and not that the whole cast was black? How did you not remember trees? That? How did you not remember Michael Jackson? And I was like, I don't know, dude.
Wizard of Oz related.
I know. I don't know why I remembered. The only fact I remember was that Dorothy was getting attacked by trash cans.
Because it didn't seem real. Who knows? I don't know. Fucking wild.
My brain is insane. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also... I talked to Richard about this the other day because I was trying to go to sleep, and I don't remember what I was even doing. But, like, where you're having those moments, you know, you're just letting your brain wander before you go to sleep. One of the moments where you're not doing a scenario, you know? Yeah. The girlies know a scenario. Yeah. And you're just letting her do whatever she wants, and then your brain's all of a sudden like, scary face, and you're like, ooh, let's move on from that, and then your brain's like, scary face, scary face, scary face, scary face, and I'm like, no, puppies, scary face.
Like, stop. Okay, so that brings me back to that point I was going to make forever ago, and was like, we'll get back around to it. We did, we're here.
Yay.
So last night, so it's like when you have a fever dream, like a legitimate fever dream, where you're like, you're in a delirium where you're having the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like, I could not fall asleep last night because I was feeling a little feverish, but we had watched Aladdin. So I just kept singing the same 2 lines from one of the songs in Aladdin with, like, a clip from the movie. Like, that was it. Okay. That was what my brain was doing all night. And I was like, I don't want to think about this anymore. Like, my brain was like, too fucking bad. That's what you're going to fall asleep to. And I was like, oh my God. Repeat. It was like 2 hours. It was for 2 hours. I laid in bed trying to fall asleep, listening to fucking Aladdin in my head. It wasn't even the good Aladdin. It was the Will Smith's Aladdin, which was worse. Oh. So it was just like...
I'm sorry.
I was trapped in a perpetual hell of a fever dream. And, you know, it was exhausting. Truly. I was just like, this is not... And then the stupid fucking ice cream man.
The ice cream
We have a fucking ice cream truck that just kept driving through the neighborhood. Yeah. It's after 10 o'clock. Why are you trying to sell children ice cream, sir? What are you doing? What's going on there? Unreal, dude. Unreal.
Have you ever... Because I don't think I have, thinking about, again, before bedtime stories that we tell ourselves, like, just to... you know, to keep the dissociation fantasies going. But have you ever, I don't think I've ever successfully, you know, you always want to dream about that. You're like, maybe if I think about this enough before bed, my brain will just keep it going. I don't think I've successfully, like, ever had that bleed in.
I never have.
Yeah, but I'm like, let's go through the story, and then maybe we'll continue. Nope, you just fall asleep.
I'm going to expose something here.
Okay. And excited.
This is the thing that really upsets me the most about my brain, is that sometimes I hyperfixate on people. Yeah. And
we both do.
I will dream about them in weird ways. And I really hate it, because sometimes it's like a normal thing, like I'll have a dream about, like, me and one of these people, like, walking a dog. Yeah. And, like, that's the whole dream. It's just we're, like, chilling. We're vibing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's, like, we're fighting a dragon together. And other times it's, like, they're trying to kill me. And I'm like, this is fucked up. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's other stuff. We don't have to get into that.
I mean, if you want to expose
and you're just like, brain, please, why are you doing this?
No, I remember one time it was in college. It was probably around the time that my best friend Monica and I went to see Green Day in concert right after their 21st Century Breakdown CD. And I thought Billie Joe Armstrong, lead singer of Green Day, was just absolutely gorgeous. I was fully obsessed with him for a while. And there was one time I had a dream. I don't know why. We were in an office building. Did I work there? I might have been an intern. I don't remember. Random office. And there was a lap dance competition, and I had to give Billie Joe Armstrong a lap dance, and I won.
All right.
And I was like, well, that's
go off, Jessica.
That's a weird way for this to manifest, but okay.
Yeah. I like stuff like that. Yeah. Like there was weird times when I was at Disney where my brain would just like latch on to someone. It could even be like just like a character. Mm-hmm. Like pick a princess. Yeah. You know, like my brain would be like, I'm gonna obsess over Cinderella this week. And it was like that was all my brain could think about. And, you know, sometimes it got weird. And I was like, can we not? Yeah. Can we please not?
And your brain's like, we're gonna get weird.
We're gonna get weird. I'm like, I would like to get off this ride, please. Mm-hmm. I'm not tall enough to ride this ride, please.
Our brains just be doing shit, like, without us that I don't understand.
And then people be like, I don't have dreams. And I'm like, must be fucking nice, okay?
That doesn't make any sense to me.
The prophetic...
Where are you going?
Fuck!
What happened?
The prophetic ability of dreams that I have is fucking annoying. Meanwhile, fucking Logan can sleep through the fucking night and be like, I haven't dreamed in 3 days. Fucking good for you.
Richard doesn't remember his dreams that often. He remembered one today. I don't know if I should tell it. It wasn't bad or anything, but it's like his story. But yeah, we were at a theater and then they were like, we hate to do this, but we're going to put you on the spot. Like, we need you to come up and do a number. And he was like, excuse me? And he was supposed to sing Annie. And then all of a sudden,
he dreamed about you then.
I don't know. All of a sudden he was like, and then I was at a playground and I was singing the song, but he said he was singing, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. So he wasn't even singing the right song. And it's like, okay, a weird dream then, finally. Same page.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Richard needs to watch a musical, is what I'm hearing.
Yay! That's my wheelhouse. I got this shit. But I was like, that's kind of an uncharacteristically, like, strange dream for him. Where I feel like mine are usually, you know, that strange.
Yeah, mine are at that level all the time. Mm-hmm. Especially with, like, the sudden shifts in scenery.
Yeah.
Fuck those, bro. I'm already confused in my regular life. You don't need to be shifting scenery on me.
Well, that's one of the weird things, too. Because my dreams do both things. Where sometimes it'll be one story the whole time. But then sometimes the story makes no narrative sense. And it's just like, first we're here. And then all of a sudden we're somewhere else. But I'm still in the same story. But it's not connected. But it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't
make
sense.
My brain is keeping tabs on what the other stories were, but they're not relevant anymore. Nobody cares. Yeah. And you're like, okay, but what about the other thing I just did? They're like, what do you mean the thing you just got here? And you're like,
no. This is actually what happened kind of with the dream I had the night before last, which is stupid. It's just one of those ones that you're like, why? But I had a dream. And I only remember the middle bits. You know, I don't remember beginning and end. But in the middle, like at one point, I was here in my apartment. Ramona, the cat, was drooling like crazy. And I was worried she was sick. I was like, what's wrong with her? Like, she's like cartoonishly drooling. It was really weird. And then I went downstairs and her food bowls, it's not even the food bowls she has, you know, but her food and water bowls were shoved underneath the table and she couldn't get to them. So it was like, oh, she's just like, she wants her food. So then like I got it for her. And then all of a sudden I was outside. Yeah. In our backyard in the space between our apartments. And, like, I could see into someone else's apartment, and I could see they had these drawings on the walls, and I was trying to see what they were, because I was like, I think I know who lives there. And then it turns out it was Power that lived there, because it said, like, Power on the wall. And
that's so funny.
Yeah. And then I was like, I want to go talk to him. So I was trying to get in there, but then all of a sudden it turned, like, I was still outside, but it was like, I'm in a video game. I just know. And then I was like, there are other people here, and they were invisible, and they were trying to, like, it was like PvP, and we were all holding
our worst types.
I know. We were all holding kettles, like a tea kettle.
Oh my god.
And they were invisible.
This has
and they were
so many layers.
They were bouncing around, and they were like trying to get me to like drop my kettle. Like it was like capture the flag. They were trying to take my kettle, and I was like, I didn't ask for this. And I was bouncing around, and I dropped my kettle, and I know I lost, and then I don't remember what happened after that. But
you know what's the worst kind of dreams?
Huh?
Are ones where you dream about work.
Oh fuck! I've had
like,
so many bad ones.
I am not on the clock. I am not getting paid to think about you right now. How fucking dare you invade my brain on my day off?
Which one, I guess, would you consider worse for a work dream? Would it be one of the ones that goes off the deep end into, like, non-reality and is absolutely batshit crazy? Or one of the ones that is so mundane that it's literally, like, it's work?
Yeah, I think the mundane one is worse, because at least the crazy one, when you wake up, you're like, holy shit, that dream was funny. Like, you know, like it's kind of haha. I had one of those mundane ones the other day.
Me too.
It was literally like me, one of my coworkers, and one of the seniors. And it was like we were the only 3 people at work. And it was just the 3 of us running the whole facility by ourselves. And I was like,
that's a common one in terms of work dreams, is short-staffed.
Yeah, but the thing is like, none of us were stressed. It was just like, yeah, it's just us.
Yeah, or me being
like,
left
do you need
to
help
do
with something?
everything.
I'll help.
But they're doing something else.
Yeah, it was just weird that my brain was like, yeah, these 2 people that I've only known for 3 months, and me running the whole facility. And I was like, this is weird. What's happening?
I had one recently, within the last month or two, where it was one of the very mundane ones. And one of the things I did whenever I used to work with penguins is I would do the programming a lot, you know, so I would take people back to see the penguins, do the whole thing. And I went through, like, the entire thing, like, word for word, how I would have done it. I went through an entire program in that dream. And then it was only when we got into the back that, like, things started to get a little bit weird, where it was like, oh, then the group wouldn't settle down. They were being really shitty. But it still wasn't out of reality. It was just a bad program that was overbooked.
It was just like you were processing a part of your day.
Yeah, but it was still like,
that's so
again,
weird.
This was recent. I haven't done that job for like 10 years. And I full 45-minute like program, all the facts, man. I did the whole thing. I talked about the exhibit,
that is
wild. Insanity. But then, and I can remember, I know exactly what I was working through with this dream too. I don't think I've told you about this one. It's the craziest work dream I've ever had.
Yeah.
It was when I worked at my last job in one of the rainforest exhibits. And the person that I worked with, so my coworker who was like my teammate on birds, he was leaving to get another job, like in real life. That was happening. And I had a dream that I was at work, shit was hitting the fan. We found a weird hybrid bird that shouldn't have existed. It was like a duck. It was a mandarin duck crossed with a Victoria crown pigeon, which is not possible. Those birds are wildly different sizes, first off. So it looked crazy. And my boss was furious and was like, you need to find this nest. You need to find out what is happening. How did this happen? Like, you need to fix this now. And I went to him and I was like, can you help me? Like, we need to find these eggs. And he said, not my problem. And he walked away from me. He shrugged. And I was like, okay, so that's clearly processing that I'm going to have to do all this by myself. But then I was going around looking for these birds and where their nest was. And this is so horrifying. It's going to sound absolutely awful. And I do hate it. Was ripping birds open like stuffed animals, looking for eggs. Like they were like stuffed animals. And I
tore my God.
These birds apart.
Oh my God.
Looking for eggs. And I woke up and it was just like, he wouldn't help me. He's leaving me here to do all this by myself.
Oh my God.
It was so visceral and so colorful. No blood though, but I mean, it was just, they were filled with stuffing. But still, absolutely insane.
That's
insanity.
wild.
Yeah. That's how my brain processes
God.
things.
Listen. So I want you to know this is one of the reasons why I know I have a social anxiety.
Yeah.
And we're taking it all the way back. We're taking it back to the OG reoccurring dream that I had as a child for like 10 years. And as a background, I went to kindergarten.
Yep.
Publicly.
Okay.
And then 1st grade through 8th homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
So basically through all of those years I had this dream because I didn't go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that I was in kindergarten and there was a little kid crying in the classroom.
Okay.
And there's a handful of students. There's like 8 of us total. And this little boy is crying. And I remember he has dark hair and very light colored skin. Like very white. And
very pale boy.
Yes, very pale. Like almost like no blood under the skin.
Oh,
pale.
really
like,
pale
like
boy.
White.
Yeah.
And he's like crying really, really hard and like, you know, doing the whole like rubbing the eyes thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher comes over to comfort him and she's like, "What's wrong? Like, what's going on?" And he grabs his hairline and rips his face off.
Oh my God.
And there's an alien face underneath and he eats the teacher. And then proceeds to eat all of the other children in the classroom.
Wow.
And then eat me last.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that dream, consistently every single year up through 8th grade.
Wild.
Which doesn't seem scary because you're in 8th grade, you're like, this is a child. But the thing is that the fear was already ingrained because I'd had that dream so consistently. Like, as soon as I was in it, I was like, oh no. Because then I would be old enough and I'd be like, I have to warn the teacher that the little boy's not safe. And I would try to do that and I couldn't. And I would just keep having this dream knowing this little kid was about to eat every single person in the room.
Wild.
And there was nothing I could do about it. Like, I literally couldn't stop it. And, like, that's my worst reoccurring dream. And it's so vivid in my brain. I haven't had it in 10 years.
Yeah.
But
I
remember her.
I don't think I've had my craziest recurring dream since I was probably like 13. I don't know how often I had it. I just know I had it frequently enough, you know, that I remember. But I also know I wouldn't go into it knowing what was going to happen. Like, I did not remember until I woke up. I was like, oh, it's this again. Like, I've had this dream, that dream before. And I've told this story to you before. I think I've told it on stream before. But it's just the funniest thing. And I wish I could animate this somehow, you know, to put it out there. It's just so weird. But I walk into this castle, like it's been raining outside. It's like I needed shelter or something. I walk into this castle. It's very empty, and it's almost like, you know, whenever the dad walks into the Beauty and the Beast castle. Yeah. You know, at the beginning, there's nobody else around. Like, there is a fire lit. There's not very much furniture. It's very dark, and I've got some cinematic camera shit going on in this one too.
Hell
like,
yeah,
I walk
you do.
in and it sees me like it's a top view. I see myself pushing the doors open and walking in. And I'm like, oh, it's very empty in here, like, but it seems safe. And then all of a sudden, like, out of nowhere, like around the corner or something, a pig walking on 2 legs, so walking like a person, walks out and like sees me. This pig is wearing a waistcoat with a vest and a tie, like, but Winnie the Pooh style, so no pants. Waistcoat, no pants. And he sees me, and I can tell he like, his face contorts. He gets really mad. I'm not supposed to be there. And then he starts chasing me on 2 legs through this castle. We go up the stairs, like, multiple floors. You know, the camera's changing as we go down hallways and stuff. This pig is on my ass. He does not want me here. He's so fast. And then I get to a part, there's like a square hole in the wall, almost like a vent. And I'm like, this is the only place to go. Like, this is the end. So I go into the vent, and I'm crawling, you know, trying to get away. And the pig comes in, too. And then now he's on 4 legs. And surprise, he's a pig. He's faster on 4 legs than he is on 2 legs.
Oh, God.
So he's really coming after me. And then, like, I turn a corner, and I get to a space where it's like everything falls away. It's like I'm outside. It's just the square leads to the outside of the castle, really high up. And then, like, I'm so scared, but I turn around, and the pig is gone. Like, it's not chasing me anymore. And I look outside, and it's this beautiful little landscape. Like, the sun comes out. It's not gloomy anymore. It's not raining. And then, have you seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yeah.
So there's some parts in the transitions where the sun and, like, the clouds have legs, and they're jumping up and
Yes.
down. It's that.
Yes.
Those are outside, jumping up and down on the hills.
What the fuck?
And then I wake up.
Oh my god.
That's it. I mean, it seems calm at the end.
I'm
it
glad
seems nice.
that your dream has a good ending because all of mine are tragic.
That one had a good ending. Again, most of mine end in tragedy. Or the ones, when I was really going through anxiety and emotions were, but shit. That one's
Every
just
now
so
and again,
weird.
I at least get to have a dream where it's like I get to dream about at least the character I wanted to dream about, you know? It doesn't, the scenario's not going where I want, but at least the character's there, you know?
Yeah. Because that one, I can remember, I'd wake up and I'd feel fine, and it's kind of peaceful, but also confusing. I'd feel fine, but I'm like, still something's just weird here. why is the sun jumping? I don't understand. That's the weirdest dream that I would have over and over again. But it's pretty fun. I can still see it. And it's funny.
That's the weird thing. Well, and what's even more bizarre about that is that it's like my inner eye is so vivid that I can visually see it when I'm awake. I can remember it.
Right now. I went through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things too, and that's why I knew we would both kind of dream the same way, because we've talked about this too. Our imaginations are very good. We do not have, aphantasia, the people who can't visualize things.
Yeah.
I can see a cow in my brain and turn it 360 degrees. I can do that shit. Free entertainment.
Yeah, my brain sees, I dream like I'm in a movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very visually, movie styled.
I saw all sorts of camera angles in that pig dream. It was like the GTA cinematic driving cam. We were going.
Oh my god.
And it's just so weird.
Wild, bro.
Dreams. I don't know if we have anything else to say. We just ended on our craziest shit.
I feel like that's the good, what's the word? Overall understanding of how I dream.
Yeah, is the weird recurring shit. But yeah, let us know. Do you dream in color? Do you dream in first person? What is your sleep paralysis demon?
I know.
We want to know.
I want to know.
We want to know.
I want to know your sleep paralysis demon. That's really the most important one to me.
Do you know, I always see the posts about the Hat Man. Or if you take an Ambien or something, and you get visited by the Hat Man, it's a common thing that people see, if they take a sleepy medicine, which is why I'm scared to take a sleepy one of those melatonins or something. You've never seen anything about the Hat Man?
Okay, so I do know about the Hat Man, but I'm also going to drop this on you. Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but Danny Gonzalez did a video about dreams, and he talks about the Hat Man.
Oh.
And then after that video, a lot of his viewers were like, yeah, so I don't really watch you that consistently, but I did watch your Hat Man video, and then you have become my sleep paralysis demon, Danny. He is now getting featured in his viewers' dreams because he talked about the Hat Man, and he was like, am I becoming a cryptid? Am I becoming a sleep paralysis demon?
Bro.
So anyway, now you're going to dream about Danny Gonzalez tonight. You're welcome.
That's fine.
Yeah. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's pretty chill. He normally just kind of stands there and watches people and is like, what are you doing, Danny? And he just stares.
And I enjoy every time we get to explore our brains in this space together. If you want to know more about how weird we are and what our brains are doing on a regular basis, find us on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, occasionally Instagram, all the places. But it's Jessica Woot. We never said who we are.
Oh, shit!
It's Jessica Woot and the Curious Alice. We just got right into it.
We had more exciting things to talk about.
We did.
Yeah! Snooze you later!
I hope nobody has bad dreams after this.
Yeah.
We will report back if we do.
Uh-oh.
Spicy.
We're both gonna have paralysis demon dreams tonight.
It. Oh, no.
Okay, sounds great. See you later. Bye.
See you in your dreams.
See you in your dreams, Jessica.